Welcome back to the show, everybody. Our guest today, you may have seen on a little thing called the internet.
Yeah.
He hosts a show called The Dan Cave. He is a senior editor at Nerdist.com.
And friend of the show, Dan Casey.
Yes.
Hey,
Welcome back.
everyone.
Welcome back, friend.
Thanks for having me. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to be back.
I know, yeah, we haven't seen you since CES.
I know. I was sad when there wasn't an adorable puppy that I could play with in the green room this time.
I apologize
I'm just
for
saying.
It's in his writer.
that. I was going to say, it is in your right,
Yes,
it is in your
and
guest
also the
writer.
M&Ms, like.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Supporting
you.
the Green Lantern.
Yes,
Love
yeah,
it.
I got to support the core.
Yeah.
Also Irish. We didn't. If you didn't know that, it's a little known secret.
Yes.
The entire core Irish.
Yeah, that's they're just fighting an intergalactic potato famine.
That's very true. That's very true.
Sinestro. Oh, boy. You have just returned from South by Southwest.
I have indeed. I ate my body weight in brisket and lived to tell the tale.
Hey, that's the way we do South by Southwest.
I was going to
100%.
ask, the important question today would be, exactly how many pounds of barbecue did you eat?
Oh man, I'm not much of a math guy, but I would say the amount was medically inadvisable.
Yeah.
I ate quite a bit of barbecue while I was down there because who knows when I'll be back.
That's true.
The first time I went to South by
true.
Southwest, I decided I was going to have ribs for every meal, which is why I've never been back to South by Southwest, because I almost died, everybody. It was delicious.
Yeah,
on the
but
way.
all that protein and all,
What a way to go. What
built
a
muscle.
delicious way to go.
But you were not there just to see and
No.
eat
Yes.
delicious foods. You saw and did other things.
I did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So Nerdist, Geek and Sundry, and Amy Poehler's Smart Girls at the Party, we took over this bar on Rainy Street called Bangers Sausage House and Beer Garden. Highly recommend it. It's a great place. We turned it into sort of a pop-up saloon.
Cool.
And so all weekend long we had panels, performances, all sorts of fun stuff, and then that was a big place where I did a lot of that aforementioned barbecue eating.
Excellent.
Nice.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how nice was your floozy costume?
Oh man.
Because it was a saloon.
It was, I'd give it like a strong 7. I don't want to oversell myself,
Fair
but
enough.
it was hootenanny appropriate.
Nanny appropriate. All right, that's what I was hoping to hear. That's Texas style.
Exactly.
Nanny appropriate attire.
Y'all
Were
come
there
back
any
now.
bar fights?
I hope not, unless something went down after the talent
Unless
left the
Chobot
stage.
got real angry about something.
Oh, Chobot beat up Jake Gyllenhaal. It was bad.
She gets upset about things.
Yeah. She's like, cellar door? That's the most beautiful phrase? No.
I will fight you.
So did you get to see any of the films that were showing or anything?
I did.
Cool? Okay.
I did get to see a couple cool films and some cool TV series that are making their premiere.
Awesome.
TV was really big this year at South by.
Exactly. TV was huge this year at South by, and I got to see and interview the cast of 2 of the ones I'm most excited for, which is Preacher coming to AMC.
Oh, I'm scared.
Excellent.
I'm scared.
It's good.
Is it?
I
Are you
heard it
sure?
was good.
Okay.
It is not 100% the comic.
Oh, well,
but,
now you're scaring me again.
But The Walking Dead is not 100% the comic.
I
and
don't
it's
like
quite
that
good.
show.
but it's so much better than Walking Dead, and I
Okay.
love The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead took 6 years to get good, but for The Preacher, right off the bat, it filled me with confidence. It's funny, it's gross, it's violent,
All right.
it's dark, and I think that anyone who's worried, their fears will be assuaged once that actually debuts on May 22nd.
I'm very excited to see it. That comic is beloved to me,
Okay.
and it is one of those ones where I was like, please just don't mess it up.
Don't ever touch it.
So you're making me feel good.
You can tell that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg really cared about the source material.
Yeah.
And some of the action in there, I feel like a lot of comic book TV shows, it's kind of like stutter stop action. Some of the scenes in that, super fluid, very funny. I can't wait to see more.
So you saw the first episode?
I saw the pilot so I
Yeah.
could interview the cast about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm very excited. And you said May 22nd is when it debuts.
Yes, unfortunately there was no mullet for Jesse Custer, but
Yeah, well-
some things had to be modernized a little bit.
Awesome.
Well, if you liked Preacher, what was the other show? Because you said there were 2.
Outcast. Speaking of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, another comic that he has at Skybound and Image Comics called Outcast. It's him and Paul Azaceta. Really fantastic story about this guy, Kyle Barnes, who is plagued by demonic possession his whole life, and then he, sort of starts experiencing this on a larger scale in his hometown, so he has to team up with this troubled reverend, and together they have to put a stop to it before it's too late.
2 troubled reverend shows?
Oh, yes, exactly. That's the
new
hot new
vampires.
trend.
That's
Yeah.
the new sparkly vampires.
Yeah.
The troubled reverend.
And this is, but it's more about the main guy, Kyle, played by Patrick Fugit from Almost Famous.
Yeah.
And it's directed by Adam Wingard, who did You're Next and The Guest, so it's got a strong horror root to it.
Awesome.
And it's really creepy, really gross, and one of my favorite comics right now, so I think people are really going to dig it. It's on Cinemax. It debuts June 3rd, so you have plenty of time to add that to your cable package.
Cinemax getting in the game
Get
of
your-
big shows.
Get your cord
Did you see
cutter
the
package.
Nick that they did?
Yeah, oh
I
man,
love
it's
the Nick.
fantastic.
They are stepping
Yeah.
up their game big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another show that
Like
grosses
they
me
had
out.
Weeds. They've had really good shows. It's just I think a lot of shows
Showtime,
on
wasn't Weeds Showtime?
Oh, Showtime. I'm
Weeds,
sorry,
yeah.
but Cinemax with the Nick and stuff. I think that they are kind of a dark horse in the sense of we don't really hear about all the great shows that are happening there, but there are really good shows that
Absolutely.
go on over there.
Yeah, it's like HBO's weird cousin.
Yeah. It's like that weird cousin that shows up at the family reunion, and like
Yeah.
by the end of the night, you guys are best friends again. But at the beginning, you're like, I don't know if I like that
What
guy.
are
Yeah.
they doing? They did a
Yeah.
weird Amish thing with...
When I
Please
was
stop
younger,
putting goldfish in your peanut butter sandwich. It's creeping me out.
when I was younger, they used to still be the weird cousin, but they were the weird cousin that like made everybody uncomfortable because they showed too much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they've kind of moved beyond the Skinamax
This
label.
is a
Yeah,
family
good point.
barbecue.
Yes. Whose cousin
This is a
that?
hoot nanny.
Yeah. Not a hooter nanny.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we said floozy, we didn't mean floozy. All right.
Oh boy. Okay, so TV, like those two were your favorites. Movies always have been a huge part of South by since they added the film festival. I've heard a lot of good things about a lot of movies
Yeah.
coming out of South by, like Midnight Special. What did you
yeah,
see
very
that
excited for that.
was your favorite? And also, like, what were the other movies that you saw you just thought were so great and that people should definitely check out when they go wide release?
I think one of the best things to come out of the festival is a movie called Don't Think Twice. And it's Mike Birbiglia, Keegan-Michael Key, a bunch of super talented people. It's about an improv comedy troupe in New York City. And one of them, one of them lands a gig on like a Weekend Update style thing on their version of SNL. And it's about how that one person's success sort of tears that group apart because it's like what happens when someone else achieves your dream.
Right.
And it's
Right,
just,
yeah.
it's really good. Mike Birbiglia, ever since he started making more like narrative-driven features like Sleepwalk with Me, really been crushing it. And that one I think is going to surprise a lot of people.
Wow.
Does that
Especially
hit a little
that's
too
awesome.
close to home for us?
Well, I mean, it does.
Probably for
that
everyone.
show, that movie that we're writing about Chris Hardwick. We gotta just take that off the table now, I guess.
Yeah.
I know. Oh God. Well, even like not to get super weird on everybody, but Chris Hardwick yesterday was like complaining about 11ish. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen this.
what
Like,
is
what
this?
that?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for people who don't know, it's basically like over in England, I think, for ITV, they're making essentially just a rip-off of At Midnight called At 11ish.
Yeah.
They just took the At Midnight font and made it bolder.
Slightly
Bolder,
earlier.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
slightly
Yeah.
earlier show.
You could like
It's
11:59 or so.
11:58 and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like 11ish.
Pretty
I
funny.
was gonna say it's a bold move.
Literally.
Maybe because they made it in international waters, they can get away with it.
I guess so. Yeah.
they
Maybe
just-
some sea
It's
captain.
pirating.
created
Yeah,
it,
they're actual pirates.
actual
Yeah.
seafaring international waters pirates. I like it. Okay, so that was one of your favorite movies. What else was good there? Because interactive was there too. Did you get to check out any interactive stuff?
I did not really get to check out a lot of interactive stuff. One of the coolest things I saw that was there for interactive was Star Wars and Disney. They built a life-size TIE fighter.
What?
Like down the street from us. And I was just walking down the street like,
Could you get inside it?
Food trucks, unfortunately, no. You're not without your pilot's license.
Well, I gotta get that. I gotta get on
Exactly.
that.
So only John Boyega is allowed
Pretty
in
much.
on Earth.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't a pilot. He just...
Yeah,
True, they just stole it. Yeah.
He's a stormtrooper.
Poe
Yeah.
Dameron maybe like honorary pilot's license.
Yeah,
but
if Poe decides to like swap sides in the new movie,
Yeah.
then maybe we'll see.
he might get one. Yeah,
Yeah.
he might get one for sure.
You gotta have one of those the helmets with the big, things here. You can't have a regular stormtrooper helmet. You gotta have the
No,
black
the
helmet.
air-
Yeah, with like
the
deluxe.
tubes.
Air mask in there and stuff. You gotta have all the.
Yeah.
It's just like in Top Gun.
Exactly.
Come on, you gotta rip off thing. You're like, oh, can't breathe. Like you gotta have
Yeah,
that because
then
it's
you gotta-
exciting and cinematic.
Then I want to see that shirtless stormtrooper volleyball scene.
150%.
With the high five.
Yeah.
How come nobody has made that web video yet?
There's
That's gotta
that.
be
I think we need to write that parody
Exactly.
right after we're done with this
Yeah.
interview.
ITV, hands off.
Yeah, don't touch it.
How dare you?
Don't you dare.
amazing.
What's a terrible Top Gun knockoff? They'll knock off that.
Yeah.
Airwolf? I don't know.
Sure.
Above weapon.
Yeah. Sky
Above
pistol.
weapon. Sky pistols. I like it. Okay, so we have covered South by Southwest. I feel like we have a good idea of some of the best things out of the show.
I'm very excited about those TV shows, that's for sure.
I am too. After hearing, I was worried about Preacher as well, and after hearing from a couple people who saw that pilot, they were just like, "It's good. You can trust Seth. You can trust you can trust them.
Yeah.
Just Evan and Seth have it locked down. Like they get it, they understand it, they love it. It's made. It's a labor of love. Like trust them.
And you would never know that Dominic Cooper and Ruth Negga, who play Jesse Custer and Tulip respectively, are British. You would never
really?
know.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Joseph Gilgun, you know he's Irish because he's supposed to be Irish.
yeah.
Yes.
Supposed to be really Irish.
He's not faking it. They got a real Irishman.
I just want to see if they're really going to do Arseface at some point.
They do.
Really?
Without spoiling anything, you'll be happy.
Man.
You're already
It's
in.
all
Like,
happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
It's- Your life is going to change May 22nd. So over at Nerdist, what are you guys doing? What are you doing on Dan Cave right now? Like, what's the thing?
Well, I had
What are you
fun
most
with it
excited
for South by Southwest. You know, it's a weird city full of weird movies. And
Well,
so,
keep Austin weird.
Exactly.
That's the
that
thing.
is their mandate. So I celebrated that a little bit with some of the most like WTF worthy movies ever made, and that was a
Excellent.
lot of fun to research that episode because you just like I tried to skirt between like awesomely bad movies and like just deeply
Horrible.
strange movies.
Yeah.
So you have like Samurai Cop, which is just full of like terrible wigs,
Bizarre,
like bad
yeah.
acting, like bizarre choices. And then you have like Holy Motors, which is like very well shot, very thoughtful, but also like incredibly off-putting and weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody had to pick one summer blockbuster to see this year, what would you
Having
tell
seen
them
none
to
of
go
them.
see?
Having
Yourself.
seen none
But
of
you've
them.
seen, I mean, but you have a good, I think you have a good sense of what's going to be good and what's not
Yeah.
going to be so good. And this is a really intense year for blockbuster films.
Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
And it's expensive to go to the movies.
And before you answer,
Yes.
if you don't say Civil War, you're kicked off the show.
Well,
But say whatever you want, but just know that.
look, I apologize to all those who have worn the logo on my shirt before, but I have to agree with Jeff. Civil War, Captain America
War's
Civil
it.
War.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to visit the set last year in Atlanta, Georgia at Pinewood, and everything I saw there has filled me with so much confidence in everything I've seen since, all the footage, all the trailers. Pete Speederman, the brand new costume.
Peterman's in the movie.
Yeah. With his little scrawny teenage voice, like, "Hey everyone, haha!"
I
Like,
have such an excitement.
They did the thing that I've been trying to beg them to do in a Spider-Man movie up till now, and that is animate the eyes.
Yeah,
Like
and I like that
Deadpool
they're
did.
functional. I like they're functional. They look like they're shutters, like
Has to
camera
happen.
shutters
Yeah.
that like open and let in more light and close, and also give them an expression, which is nice.
Exactly, especially after Deadpool. You know, it doesn't have to make logical sense. It's just one of those like weird little
Exactly.
comic book trappings that like adds a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then you're not
exactly.
contriving to rip his mask off every 2
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. Are we gonna wrap it
Dude,
up? I
Dan,
feel
thank
sad.
you so much for
always-
coming by.
Yeah, thank you for
You're the
having me.
best.
I
Always
think
a
we might have
pleasure.
just lock you in a closet and keep you here.
Well, it's just like where I live at home. I'm a Harry Potter LARPer, so like to keep it
That's awesome.
authentic.
It's living under the
Perfect.
stairs.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
like it. Perfect.
Go ahead.
No, by all means.
I was going to say, where can people keep up with your goings on?
Well, you can find everything I write on Nerdist.com. You can find me on the internet at osteoferocious, like the crippling bone disease, but meaner. Sorry, someone is squatting on at Dan Casey. I would have that otherwise.
There are really only two options.
Yeah, there, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Unfortunately, I am clams, because I did not think it was a viable platform, but here
now
I am.
It is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you can also find my books on Amazon.com. Just search for my name.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And like I said, it's always a delight.
It is indeed.
And we love talking to you about movies and pop culture and stuff. So that is Mr. Dan Casey, everybody. Make sure that you check his stuff out on the internet if you're not already, which, let's all be real here, you probably are.
And there's more Tomorrow Daily coming right up, so stick around. Don't touch that dial.